Calling the February 22nd Board of Education meeting to order. Comments from the public on closed session items? Do we have any public? Nope. All right, so those are the, all right, so it's just you? So we are going to adjourn to closed session.
Recording in progress.
All right. We are reconvening at 6:04.
Report out the first about 3.1.
Oh, we did that at the end.
Oh, I did. Okay,
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah. Right.
All right, so before we do adoption and approval of the agenda, as always, I want to thank the tech team for getting us in this hybrid fashion every single week, and especially acknowledge Ashley, whose last meeting is tonight. Thank you so much for your years with us and just for pivoting with us from Zoom to hybrid. Thank you.
So Ashley, we have a little token for you, but we just really appreciate all the work that you've done to further the communications in Pelham City Schools and everything that you do. It's much appreciated, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors along the Camino and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you all. It's been a pleasure working with you.
We will miss you.
Yes.
Yeah, we will.
All right. Okay. Adoption and approval of the agenda.
I move to adopt and approve the agenda. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is Caitlin on? Is Caitlin on?
No, she's
No? Oh, okay, okay, sorry. Okay, special recognitions, reports and presentations. We've got Students of the Month from Kenilworth, Petaluma Junior, Casa Grande, Petaluma High School, and Students of the Semester from Mary Collins School at Cherry Valley, and a student report for McDowell. So let us know who you're gonna call up first. Okay.
Good evening. Kenilworth is here, and we've got Cassidy Floyd, and we should have Sarah Burton presenting our Students of the Month tonight. Are you good, Cassidy, or Sarah? You want first?
Oh yeah, I'm unmuted. Okay. Hi, my name is Cassidy Floyd, and Kenilworth Junior High School is proud to introduce our February Student of the Month, Robin Guerra Brand. Robin has been chosen as a Student of the Month by his team of teachers because he shows academic excellence, is working hard, and acts as a great help to his teachers and classmates. Miss Martin, Robin's PE teacher, says Robin is wonderful. He is polite and respectful in class. Robin has been helpful with new students and works great with his peers in general. Miss Rudder, Robin's math teacher, shares this sentiment as she says, Robin is hardworking, super delightful and respectful, always offers to help others, and is a pleasure to have in class. Miss Crozier, who teaches science, states, Robin is a great, motivated student. He turns in exceptional work and is always willing to help a peer in class. Robin is committed to his academics and is proud of his grades. In order to maintain his success, Robin says he pays close attention in class and always completes his homework on time. Robin's hard work has paid off with a high GPA of 3.89. Robin's favorite class is science, where he says he learns something new every day and enjoys all of the interesting labs. Outside of school, Robin is committed to his soccer league, MLS Next, which he has played with for the past 8 years. When he is not at practice or completing his schoolwork, Robin enjoys spending time with his family and friends, playing video games, and reading. Robin likes many literary genres, but says Harry Potter is his favorite. Robin is a dedicated older brother who often helps his younger brother by checking over his homework, offering help with assignments, and helping to build his soccer skills. Robin plans to attend Casa Grande for high school and would like to eventually attend a prestigious university where he dreams of playing on the school soccer team. After graduating from university, Robin is considering a future career as an electrician. Robin's thoughtful, steady, and diligent personality traits are sure to support him to reach all of his goals. Kenilworth is proud of Robin, and we look forward to seeing all of your future dreams come true. Congratulations, Robin, for all of your accomplishments.
Hi, my name is Sarah Burton. Kenilworth Junior High is
Sarah, you're muted. Can't hear you. She's not. We can't hear you. Can you bring your device closer?
hi.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Can you hear?
Yeah, we still can't hear you. If you log off and then log back in, that might be helpful.
I can be introduced to Minna.
If Sarah can't log in, okay, I can go ahead and take care of reading this for you, Jimena.
Is she back, Ashley? Oh, okay. I think she just got back on, Will. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes your AirPods connect, they do not hear you.
There she is.
Oh, all right. Oh, we still can't hear you. Mr. O said that he can read it though, okay?
Sarah, I'm going to take over for you, okay? All right, thank you. Kenilworth Junior High School is proud to introduce our February Student of the Month, Jimena Palacios. Sorry about that. Jimena has been selected as Student of the Month by her teachers because she is kind, always willing to help others, and is determined to be successful in everything she does. Jimena's teachers had wonderful things to say about her. Ms. Maneras, Jimena's math teacher, shared that Jimena is an excellent math student. She puts in her best efforts into each and every math assignment. Jimena often goes above and beyond normal homework expectations. If there is a homework problem she doesn't understand, she will make sure to come in and ask for help. Jimena is also a great table partner in class, always willing to help students in her group that struggle. Ms. Hancock, who teaches science, says that Jimena is hardworking, kind, and helpful. She regularly participates and asks good questions. She is a great lab partner, and I love having her in class. As one of the first members of Kenilworth's new Student Ambassador program, Jimena has been a fantastic representative of our campus, welcoming new students with her warmth and open attitude. When a new student is scheduled to start, Jimena will meet with them in the morning, show the student to each of their classes, escort them through lunch, introduce the new student to peers. Jimena has demonstrated responsibility and a true dedication to serve her campus community in this way. Jimena has impressively maintained a 4.0 GPA while taking advanced English and as a member of the Kenilworth KTV class. KTV is Jimena's favorite class because she loves having the opportunity to collaborate with peers and try out all of the different roles involved in news production. Jimena stays active in her community by volunteering with the Una Vida organization and distributing donations to community members in need. Jimena practices Taekwondo with USA Martial Arts, recently earning an advanced red belt. Jimena enjoys performing with a local ballet folklorico dance troupe, which she has been participating in since she was 7. Jimena has big goals for her future, starting with her application to be a member of the ASB class at Casa Grande, where she hopes to make a difference in her school community by participating in behind-the-scenes activities. After graduating from college, Jimena is interested in becoming a police detective, where she can continue to serve community through her career every day. Congratulations, Jimena, for all of your accomplishments.
Nice job, Jimena. Jose, Alma, congratulations.
All right.
And Jose Jr.
All right, congratulations. And thank you, readers. Thank you, Sarah, for trying. All right, looks like Petaluma Jr. is up next.
Hi, Petaluma Junior has 2 leadership kids presenting. I think I see them both here. Audrey, would you like to start?
Petaluma Junior High School is very excited to present Jasmine Maya Andrade as one of our February 2020 Students of the Month. She's an excellent student with a friendly and positive attitude. She has been a wonderful asset at Petaluma Junior High for both years, and we are so proud to pass her on to high school next fall. Jazz is a hard-working student who has a passion for learning. She maintains excellent grades in rigorous classes and has a very strong work ethic. Jazz is a voracious reader and tries to read at least 30 books a year. She uses her reading time to both improve her academic capabilities and as a way to manage stress. Jazz also has been working diligently on her presentation skills and now feels very confident in front of an audience. Her art teacher says this about Jazz: a pleasure to have in class, a fantastic artist. Always tries her best, works very independently and in groups. Excellent craftsmanship, kind, sweet, and polite. And the librarian whom Jazz is a student aide at, I appreciate that she is a self-starter and that she is thoughtful when completing tasks I ask her to do. She notices small details like a missing label on a book and is proactive with things like rotating books on the display stands, and is very creative with the librarian bulletin boards and the makerspace activities that the TAs help design. I also really enjoy our thoughtful conversations while we work on tasks together. In addition to her books, outside of school, Jazz enjoys creating art, being with friends, and training as a sci-fi fit. She looks forward to becoming a fully independent and is learning to drive using a hand-controlled vehicle. Her mother and aunt share their experience of Jazz, respectively. Jazz has always been a mature soul, one who is very wise for her age. She's always thinking of others before herself, and I never have to remind her to do her homework. She makes sure that she's on top of it. And Jazz is an incredible and funny and loving person. She's very wise beyond her years and is always open to new things. Jazz enjoys doing art and is very creative. Clearly, our young woman is a remarkable individual who stands as an excellent role model. We are proud to honor Jazz Maya Andrade with the title of Student of the Month.
Thank you, Audrey. Callan, do you want to go next?
We are honored to present Maxwell Bowles as one of our February 2021 Students of the Month. Max wants to be the best he can be and do things properly. He is an all-around excellent student, musician, and a great role model for our school. Max enjoys and earns excellent grades. His transcript is nearly perfect, demonstrating that Max is focused and dedicated student. He plays the saxophone in the PJHS band and is also an accomplished trumpet player. His band teacher compliments Max is a hardworking student who always strives to do his best and pleasure to have in the band. Outside of school, Max has a very satisfying and uncomplicated life. He enjoys being with family, whether it is doing chores or traveling. His dad adds, "We are so proud of Max and honored that he is selected to be the PJHS Student of the Month. He has persevered through the unusual circumstances of a pandemic. His work ethic is nothing less than amazing. We hope that he continues his stellar work in the next 4 years at PHS." And his mom shares, "I could not be more proud of Max for this recognition from his school. He continues to amaze me with all of his accomplishments, and he motivates to do his best. Max has a bright future, and I cannot wait to see what he accomplishes in his life." Max Bowles is one of those quiet kids, yet highly motivated students who captures the admiration of his teachers and fellow students. We are proud to have Max represent Petaluma Junior High School as a Student of the Month.
All right, thank you. Congratulations, Jaslyn and Max. Thank you to both of our readers as well. Okay.
So we gave we gave each site the option of being here in person or on Zoom.
Well, we're thrilled you're here.
Yay.
Hi.
There you go. Perfect. We love you. I don't know what we do without you.
Casa Grande's first student of the month is Emmeline Madrigal. Growing up, Emmeline has persevered in balancing her schoolwork with the responsibility of helping her immigrant low-income parents both at home and on the winery fields of Healdsburg. She has a strong work ethic, but when overwhelmed, she likes to turn to the comfort of her two small dogs, Cookie and Minnie. Emmeline, in addition to challenging herself with a rigorous course load at Casa Grande High School, is also furthering her passion for languages through courses at the Santa Rosa Junior College. Self-motivated, she intends on becoming fluent in Japanese and American Sign Language, while also using her fluency in English and Spanish to volunteer at CASA's English as a Second Language program. After high school, Emmeline plans on pursuing majors in computer science and international affairs, and eventually traveling around the world. Thanks to her resilience and determination to succeed, Emmeline will be attending Brown University next fall with a full ride scholarship. She is a student who continuously chooses to overcome the obstacles in her life. Congratulations, Emmeline.
Yeah.
Casa Grande's second student of the month, I'm going to move this, sorry. Casa Grande's second student of the month is Molly Haslett. Molly is a senior at Casa Grande who is driven to challenge herself in all her classes. During her high school career, she has taken many AP and honors classes, with calculus and statistics being her favorites overall. Her current goals include awaiting college admission decisions with the hopes of being accepted to one of the University of California schools she applied to, as well as a few other schools. After high school, she plans to attend a four-year university somewhere on the West Coast to study her favorite subject, mathematics. She is very passionate about the subject and hopes her love for the world of numbers will help boost her into a prosperous career. Outside of school, Molly enjoys spending quality time with friends and family, sewing everything from sweaters to quilts, and baking a variety of sweet treats. She also loves to travel and has been to 4 different countries, an interest she aspires to continue throughout college. She is honored to be nominated as a Student of the Month for Casa Grande and is thankful for her teachers, friends, and family for helping her achieve her goals. Congratulations, Molly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Congratulations, Emmeline and Molly, and thanks, Josie. All right, next up, Petaluma.
Hello, everyone. I am Nicoletta, and I will be presenting the Students of the Month from Petaluma High School from the month of February. The first Student of the Month from February from Petaluma High School is Ryan Giacomini. Ryan is a senior at Petaluma High and has been involved in a multitude of things throughout his high school career, including student leadership for 4 years and being the class treasurer his senior year, being on the varsity boys basketball team for 4 years and being a team captain his senior year, being a club president, doing over 800 hours of community service, having an internship as a sports reporter, as well as working 3 part-time jobs. Ryan also juggles multiple AP classes on top of his other commitments. Like previously mentioned, Ryan spends a lot of his time doing community service in his local community. Most of his volunteering he has done has been with the local nonprofit Una Vida that helps food insecure families in Sonoma County and the greater areas. Ryan has enjoyed his time working with Una Vida and hopes to continue something similar to do in college in his new community. Ryan hopes to attend a 4U university, preferably in California by the water. All his life, Ryan has played basketball and hopes to continue that journey at the club level in college as well. Also, Ryan has worked multiple part-time jobs at the same time, including Baskin-Robbins, the Boys and Girls Club, and the NCOA, which is basketball reffing, as well as having an internship as a sports writer and media assistant for YSN 365. Ryan hopes to continue learning about sports and sports media and eventually become a color commentator or play-by-play analyst. Ryan says he owes his success and opportunities to his parents, his teachers and counselors, especially Mr. Jackson and Mr. Aha, as well as his friends and other role models. He also said he wants to thank Petaluma High School for the amazing educational opportunities they have provided. Congratulations, Ryan.
And our next Student of the Month is here in person, so.
Okay. So yes, the next Student of the Month. Yes, the next Student of the Month from Petaluma High is Daniela Velasco Mendoza. Daniela is a 12th grader at PHS. She is graduating this year and plans on attending a 4-year university. She plans on attending Sonoma State University and is looking into studying to become a social worker or speech pathologist. She has always liked to work with children, so to be able to continue to do this and help them feel like they have the help needed would make her very happy. Her education has always been something that is very important to her because she wants to have a good job that will give her the chance to have a comfortable and stable life. At school, she enjoys spending time with friends at lunch and learning new things that will help her in the future. Congratulations, Daniela.
Congratulations, Ryan and Daniela. Yes. Thanks so much for joining us in person. All right, next up, students of the semester.
Progress.
Okay. Hi, we're representing Cherry Valley. Hello, my name is Chloe, and I'm here to introduce my fellow classmate, Lily, as a student of the semester. Lily is 14 in the 8th grade. She has one older and one younger sister, and her older sister is a Cherry Valley alumni, while her younger sister is currently enrolled at Cherry Valley. Lily's parents describe her as caring, reliable, self-aware, and overall a resilient and outgoing person. Lily has been attending Cherry Valley since kindergarten and joined Miss D'Amico's class. She then went to Miss Wilson's class for 2nd and 3rd grade, Miss Pelkoffer's for 4th and 5th grade, Mr. Watts for 6th grade, and finally to Mr. Riddell's for 7th and 8th. All of these teachers describe Lily as enthusiastic, cheerful, supportive, and the type of person to light up the room with her smile and bright personality. She continues to be an important part of the Cherry Valley community by filling roles of leadership
and activism. Her friends also describe Lily as outgoing, funny, kind, and respectful. Outside of school, she participates in Girl Scouts and is on the Rohnert Park swim team. Like her older sister, Lily plans on attending Credo High next year. She hopes to pursue her passions for politics, computer sciences, and business. Lily also plans on going to college either close to home or far away. With her experiences from high school, Lily will no doubt go on to pursue great things. It is my honor to present Lily Manns of Mary Collins School at Cherry Valley as a student of the semester.
Hi, my name is Kaya, and it is my pleasure to be able to introduce to you Alima Koniak. Alima was born in 2008 and is approaching 14 years old in 12 days. She grew up with an older brother who is now in college and has 2 younger sisters. Her mother has raised her to be someone who has a strong passion for learning and amazing ability to communicate with others. Her mom describes her as a curious and intelligent person, and someone who loves to help others and is compassionate in every way. Alima came to Cherry Valley in the 2nd grade, and her teacher was Ms. Haynes. From then on, her teachers have described her as a student who puts thought and effort into her work, enriches learning for her classmates by sharing her ideas and helping out, and embodies what it means to be kind. Her teachers can easily say that Alima is a student who is willing to go above and beyond in school and in her friendships to show support and share her voice. She contributes to the Cherry Valley community not only by being a wonderful student and friend, but also by doing theater tech in both 6th and 8th grade. Outside of school, she enjoys horseback riding and reading along with hanging out with her friends. She's described as compassionate, mature, respectful, and caring by her friends. They see her as someone who is honest and will always be there for you. Alima has plans to attend Credo High after Cherry Valley. At Credo, we are sure Alima will continue to be a kind and exemplary friend and student. After high school, she hopes to attend a university and further her education and desire for knowledge. It is my honor to introduce Alima Koniak as one of Mary Collins School at Cherry Valley's students of the semester.
All right, thank you. Congratulations, Alima and Lily. All right. Next up is our student board report.
So I'd like to introduce Jeannie Pretzel, our bilingual resource teacher, and the students that will be presenting: Becky Chavez Cano, Kanoa Marufo, Maram Hassoun, and Danielle Ali.
They're on their videos and
Sounds like they're on. They just need to turn on their videos and their videos on.
Becky, Danielle, Maram, can you turn on your videos? Kanoa?
There we go.
I don't see
Right.
We don't see Kanoa.
So Danielle, can you turn on your video?
That's cute. Oh, there she is. So we're not seeing the 3rd student. Are you guys able to do the report?
And they're all on mute.
Yes, we can do, they can do the report without Kanoa here, unfortunately. Hopefully
Okay.
she'll make it.
Okay. We'll keep an eye out for her.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
Danielle or Maram, do you think you could do it, or Adriana, you weren't here today, but would one of you just do a quick introduction? Since Kanoa's not here, do you think one of you could take that on? Danielle, are you still here?
You're on mute.
Danielle, I keep promoting her, but she doesn't actually promote.
So it sounds like Danielle needs to turn her video on.
Him.
Yeah.
She like isn't. It's not working. She keeps getting back to attending.
There might be some technical issues with the other student as well.
Danielle, can you unmute and say hello?
She disappeared.
Oh, okay.
No longer. I no longer see him.
Okay, I'm gonna email him quickly.
Are you able to do the presentation?
Yes, we are able. We're able to. Maram, do you think you could give us a quick introduction? Are you okay? Just a quick talking about what we're going to do and what Kano was going to say briefly, just saying welcome and we want to share with you.
Yes.
Go ahead, honey.
We are happy to be here and telling you about our school.
Well, thank you. We're happy to have you.
Yes.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
Welcome to McDowell. We hope you enjoy our visit to our school.
Coming back to school this year was fun.
We are excited about learning. I love math a lot, so I can learn how to do decimals, multiplication, subtract, and addition. I really love math.
I learned about penguins.
I like middle school and I like to learn math and English.
I'm learning to do my homework.
My favorite books are piggy and elephant books. This thing that I'm learning at McDowell is what the solar system is like and how many years it takes to fly to Mars.
Respect means being kind to all living things.
I like that.
Dolphin.
We love working, exploring, and learning in our gardens.
The thing I love about McDowell is the garden and the birds around, because we have lots of birds here.
Nice.
We always look some bugs on the plants. The bees come here to get pollen so more plants can grow.
Thanks to Miss Breeze, the art docent, we have an amazing art program.
Wow, that's cool.
I'm a creative drawer, but doing it at school makes my day even better.
Well said.
We also have marimba and theater this year. It's important to learn about the earth because the earth is a place that we live in and we want to keep it like clean, healthy, and like safe. To help the earth, and you can do stuff for the earth like plant a tree or try to help global warming.
I went to UV field trips, and what it stands for is in our own backyard. And basically what we do is we explore like a lot of different places. One was Ellis Creek. We looked at a lot of birds and part of nature, and it was a fun experience.
We are so lucky to have so many special programs that make learning more fun and meaningful. Everyone is working on a second language, and some of us are learning a third.
That's so sweet.
Kindness, oh, whenever you try this, you will see the world's a better place.
Our monarchs have big plans.
When I grow up, I want to be an aerospace engineer. I want to be a veterinarian.
I want to be a homicide detective. When I grow up, I want to be an engineer.
I want to be an immigration lawyer, and I'm working really hard to get my grades up to go to Harvard.
They'll teach us how to learn. Go Monarchs. I love school. I like my school. Me too. My favorite thing about McDonald's class. The teachers are kind. What makes McDonald a special place is that you can always make friends whenever you want. All the friendships I've made and all the fun activities and field trips I've been doing this year.
Everybody's so kind and respectful.
The power of friendship.
There are no bullies, and if there is, my friends will always help me.
My school is special because I have a lot of friends, and I love learning, and I love McDowell. This school is so amazing.
It's really easy to make friends.
It's a nice place to grow and learn and be more social. And I think it's a really nice place to go to school at.
We do fun things. We do fun projects. We play fun. We read a book.
Thanks for letting us show you our school.
Excellent. Thank you.
That was so sweet. Thank you. I love the video.
Very good. Yeah.
Can we have a chance for these guys to introduce themselves and tell you what grade they're in?
Sure.
Yeah.
What about Maram? Why don't you start?
My name is Maram and I'm 5th grade.
Becky?
Hello, my name is Becky Will, and I'm in 6th grade in Miss Costello's class.
Okay, and Danielle, unfortunately, we can't see you. Can you hear us? Can you talk to us? Oh, there he is.
Hello, my name is Danielle Ali, and I'm in 6th grade.
Wonderful. And unfortunately, it looks like Kanoa never made it, but she's also one of our 5th grade superstars.
Nice. Thank you. All right, thank you. Great job. All right. Next up, we have our LCAP mid-year update. Is this you, Tony?
So maybe before we do that, if we want to just if people are needing to go do homework.
Yeah, you guys don't have to sit through the rest of the meeting if you need to go. Great to see you. Thank you so much for attending. Yeah.
Being here in person. That's great.
Okay, well, happy 2/22/2022.
A bunch of people got married today.
Oh, did they? It was a good day.
Yeah, in Las Vegas.
Oh, God. By Elvis impersonators?
Sorry.
No problem. So thank you, and I'd like to present to you today our required mid-year supplement annual update to our LCAP annual update. Every year, districts are required to provide or expected to provide background information on where we are with our mid-year LCAP. And so what's new this year is actually our mid-year expenditures, which is in the attachments that in the board agenda item. So the LCAP is a 3-year plan that describes the goals, action, services, and expenditures to support positive student outcomes that address state and local priorities. There are several components of the LCAP. What I'll be focusing on really is the goals, metrics, and the actions, specifically the metrics. So the purpose of this presentation will be to update the board regarding where we are based on our measuring and reporting results, our metrics within each goal. And I'll be reviewing what we currently have as our metrics and where we currently are. Some important notes is that some of the mid-year data is not applicable because the reports haven't come out from the state yet. So some of it we're pulling from local data that we have, as well as just a footnote that some of the metrics I may not have a lot of, I can't elaborate too much on because I wasn't a part of the planning for this 3-year cycle, but I will do the best I can presenting the mid-year. So for our LCAP Goal 1, supporting students with disabilities in ELA and math, one of the metrics is the early assessment program for students with disabilities. The early assessment program is a measure of students in math and English skills at the end of their 11th grade year. It lets students know in advance if they are ready for college level work. When they take the CAS, they are essentially taking the EAP. What's different is that they're reporting to CSU is what their scores are. And if they don't report, they can also report later down when they get their scores or whenever schools might ask for it. But essentially, they're either ready, conditionally ready, or not yet demonstrating readiness for CSU. For our baseline, 2019, we were about 1% ready for CSU, 8.26% conditionally ready for CSU. And conditionally ready just means that they are ready for college level math, but they need to take a senior year math for them to be ready. And 90.82% not ready, not yet demonstrating readiness for CSU. So for our mid-year, which is the darker shaded area, currently for our math is 0% ready, about 11% conditionally ready for CSU, and 89% not yet demonstrating readiness for CSU. And I think it's important to note that only 55% of the students students with disabilities reported for their EAP, because I think during that pandemic year, we didn't have a lot of students taking the exam. So the data might not be as accurate due to the fact that not a lot of students took the exam. For our English, we had 6.42% ready for CSUs. For our baseline, 18.35 conditionally ready for CSU as our baseline, and 75.23% not yet demonstrating readiness for our baseline. For our mid-year report, we're at 6.15% ready for CSUs, 18.46 conditionally ready for CSUs, 75.39 not yet demonstrating readiness for CSUs. So I know that it might look hard to understand the way the metrics is being kind of presented. So essentially, hopefully this kind of gives a clear demonstration of where we are. Essentially, for our expected outcomes for the 2023-2024 year, we've pretty much met those expectations, aside from the math ready category. We didn't have any students math ready. But for math conditionally ready, we exceeded what we were expecting at 11% compared to the 8% we were expecting. We were about on par for our English ready with the EAP, and then conditionally ready, we exceeded at 18%, we were expecting 17%. So what we're gonna do is kind of reevaluate what our expected outcomes are, because our mid-year kind of shows that we are where we want it to be. However, with knowing the fact that not a lot of the students had taken it, we know the data may not be as accurate for this mid-year report. So for LCAP Goal 2, which talks about safe, healthy school climate metrics, the metrics that we have here is our absentism indicator for grades K through 8. Our base for all students is 7.5% chronically absent, which was an increase of 0.5%. So currently we are at 4.89%. Our desired outcome for the 2023-2024 school year is trying to be at least 2.5% or less than 5% chronically absent. So we are slightly below than where we were desired outcome, but again, it might be due to the pandemic and the things that we're facing during this time. Suspension and expulsion rates for K through 12, our baseline was 6.3% suspended at least once, and we are currently at 0.3%. Our goal is all students decline of at least 3.3% to less than 3% of students suspended. Expulsion rates for all students, 0% for both elementary and secondary. And currently for all students, we're at 0.3%. For our other metrics in Goal 2, attendance rate, for the 2018-2019 baseline, we were at 97.5%. We are currently at 94.21%, so not where we would like to be at 98%. Again, I would say probably due to the pandemic, it didn't help with our attendance rate in this particular metrics. One of our metrics that we had also in LCAP was that Circle Up staff and students attended trainings. Our baseline was that 34 staff and 11 students were trained. Currently, all site administrators and counselors participated in 3 trainings. Of course, I know we are reevaluating Circle Up. Additional metrics in Goal 2 is that our Youth Truth student survey responses. So this is kind of interesting because we didn't have elementary responses last year, but we do have it this year. And as you can see in the mid-year update, 90% of the students for engagement, we had 90% of students with positive engagement. For elementary and relationships, 82%. Culture, which was kind of a surprise at 24%. But we didn't take the elementary youth truth survey last year, so we don't have anything to compare as a baseline, but this will become our baseline for this year for elementary. However, for secondary, middle school and high school, you can see our baseline with engagement was 53% for middle school and 48% for high school. And the youth truth survey data just came out not too long ago. So currently for the mid-year, we have 52% for the middle schools and 50% for the high schools. In regards to relationships, 61% for our baseline and 49% for where we currently are with the youth truth survey. And high school, in regards to relationships, 41% compared to 36% currently. And in regards to culture, 59% for the middle schools to 42% for this year, and 38% for the high schools in regards to culture, and 32% for this year. And this is the parent survey responses for the youth truth. The parents' responses was much more positive compared to the students' responses. You can kind of see there for the middle school and high school base for the engagement for the parents at 52% to 34%, and then the mid-year at 44% and 41% for the middle school and high school. Again, we didn't do elementary parents last year, but 70% of them had positive engagement at the elementary. Relationships, middle school 79%, high school 62% for our baseline, and 76% for the middle school and 64% for the high school in regards to relationship during this cycle. And culture 70% as our baseline for the middle schools, 47% for the high schools, and for this year it's 68% for the middle schools and 53% for the high schools. So what does that really mean in a more kind of a graphical representation? Positive responses increased for high school families in 2022 from the baseline in 2021, but fewer students reported strong relationships and positive culture in 2022 than in 2021. And if you want to know what we mean by engagement, engagement means students perceive high expectations and feel engaged with their school and their education. For secondary, it means students perceive themselves as engaged with their school and their education. Relationships means, in elementary, it means students have a strong supportive relationship with their teachers. Secondary, it means students feel that they receive support and personal attention from their teachers. And culture, in elementary, means students experience an orderly, respectful classroom environment. And secondary, culture means students believe that their school fosters a culture of respect and fairness.
Yeah, I saw these numbers. I thought it was interesting that with us returning to campus that the numbers have actually gone down.
Yeah. So another metrics in goal 2 is that our secondary dropout rates in our CalPads. Our baseline was at just slightly under 4%. We are currently at 3.7%. We definitely, our desired outcome is less than 3%, so we are over our desired outcome, so we'll need to reevaluate our expected outcomes for this year. And again, I would lead towards the pandemic as being a cause of our increase in our dropouts. Our CTE completers, that means students who completed the concentration class and the capstone course. In the 2019-2020, 89 students were CTE completers for our baseline, currently 82%. Our goal, our desired outcome for the 2023-2024 year is 100 students will be CTE completers. We only have one metrics for goal 3, which is our English learner reclassification rate. So for the 2020-2021 results, 17.1% and 37.1% for secondary in regards to students who were reclassified. We won't have the data for this year yet. It will be released in April. But our desired outcome is 20% for elementary and 40% for secondary for the 2023-2024 school year. LCAP Goal 4, which revolves around college and career readiness, our metrics is the dashboard cohort graduation rate. In 2019 or 2018-2019 results, we were at 90.3%, with an increase of 1.1% from the previous year. For the 2019-2020, we were at 86.9%. For the 2020-2021, 88.3%. So a slight dip in our graduation rates, but also this was during the pandemic year as well. So in regards to how we compare to the state, we are slightly above the state for the 2019, 2020, 2020, 2021 years. But in 2018, 2019, we exceeded the state in graduation rates. Other metrics in LCAP Goal 4, our dashboard English learner progress indicator for our 2019 baseline at 52%, making progress towards English language proficiency. Currently, we are at 38.1% of ELs that made progress between 2020 and 2021, according to the LPAC. So our goal really is 55% or more of our ELs making progress. In regards to our AP exam results, all students at 70% was our baseline for the 2020 school year. Asian students were 61%, Hispanic Latino students were 67%. The African American students wasn't a significant number for us to report. 72% for white students, and free and reduced lunch program was 59%. For our mid-year update, we were at 55% for all students, so there was a drop. Asian students, there was a significant drop to 52%. Hispanic Latino also was a significant drop to 53%. White students was a significant drop to 55%, and a slight drop for free and reduced lunch program, 48%. So our desired outcome is obviously to increase our baseline. So we had 73% for all students. So we have some work to do in regards to making sure all of our students and our subgroups exceed our baseline. So we will evaluate what we need to do to address what we're currently seeing in our mid-year report.
I have a question about the desired outcome. Why are they not all the same percentage?
That's a good question.
Can they be the same percentage?
They could be. I'm thinking they might have just taken a look at where they currently are and through whatever process that they had that year, determine what was feasible for them to achieve in the next 2 years or so. That's something I can try to inquire and find out. And it's also something we can evaluate in regards to ensuring if that's something we want to do, is make all of our students happy.
I don't know if you could talk about this, but what are they doing to help improve these percentages? Like, is this just data, or is there like measures in place?
Yeah, so in the LCAP, there are the metrics, and then there's actions that are associated with it. And those actions should, or the plan is that the action should help meet our desired outcomes. And if they don't, then we reevaluate every year to determine if they are appropriate or not. So this year we are, we'll look at to see if there are things that we need to adjust in regards to our actions, and even some of our metrics.
Good question. Then also, can we do something about that asterisk? Like, can we have like more than 10?
Yeah, and I asked about that.
In AP classes.
Yeah, I asked about that as well. I think it's because partly, from my understanding, it's because with a low number of African American students, they don't want to reveal who those students are, and with the low number, people can start to make guesses of which students are, which those students are. So right. I'm assuming that's partly why.
No, I hear I know the reason behind the asterisk, but at some point, can we look at not having an asterisk and have a good population of Black students in AP classes to actually get some data about?
Absolutely. Other metrics in LCAP Goal 4 are CTE pathway completion. For the 2019-2020 results, 26% of 12th graders graduated with as CTE completers. Currently, we are at 11%. Our goal is 35% for the 2023-2024. This school year is not quite out yet, so that number might change towards the end of the year. Our A through G completion percentage, our baseline for all students in 2019-2020 was 42%. Asian students for 76%. Not applicable for Filipino students, Hispanic Latino students for 29%, not applicable for African American students, and 49% for our white students as our baseline. And as you can see in our mid-year update, all students are currently at 44%, Asians at 52%, Hispanic Latino 32%, African Americans 56%, and white students at 50%.
Are we projecting that we're going to have less African American students in our district in 2 years? Because there's like a percentage now, or I guess last year, but then not for 23, 24.
Yeah, I think it's just based off of what was in the base. That might change. I'm hoping that changes in 2023, 2024.
And I know you update this every year, so
Yeah.
I'm just wondering. Okay.
For our seal of biliteracy, it's 18.6% as our baseline. We are currently at 17%. Our desired outcome is for the 2023-2024 is 25%. Our goal 5 metrics, conditions of learning. One of our metrics is appropriately credentialed teachers. Our baseline of 100% of our teachers are appropriately credentialed with no misassignments. For this year, we're at 4.3% of teachers who are misassigned currently. Obviously, we want to have 100% of our teachers appropriately credentialed with no misassignments. Facilities in good repair is another metrics for goal 5. Our baseline is 100% of our facilities are in good repair, exemplary. According to our latest FIT report, all facilities are in good repair and are exemplary. So we are current with our desired outcomes for the 2023-2024 metrics in facilities in good repair. Another metrics in LCAP Goal 5 is students' access and enrollment in all required areas of study as measured by review of school master schedules and counselor verification of student placement. That is currently in progress. Our goal is to make sure that 100% of our students have access to all the required areas of study, including unduplicated students and students with exceptional needs. So in closing, despite the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, Petaluma City Schools remains committed to implementing the LCAP to provide the necessary services to our students. We acknowledge and sincerely thank the hard work and dedication of our employees, the support of our parents, and the resilience of our students, the leadership of our board as we move forward. So thank you with that. I apologize, it's not the most funnest presentation. I know it's just a lot of numbers and data and stuff, but it's important for us to know where we are during our mid-year in regards to our LCAP.
I thought it was great. That was a great presentation. Yeah, thank you. Very clear.
Especially since you weren't here for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I typically want to explain things a little bit more. I just don't have the background to really explain as much.
So Katie or Malaya, do you guys have any questions, or do you have any other questions on any of this?
I'm just curious about like the action part of it. But, I mean, I don't know if we're talking about tonight. Yeah.
And if you'd like, I can give you a copy of our LCAP. You can see the actions associated with it.
Tony, what do you, like you just said, you're reporting on an LCAP that predates you, and the baseline year was at the beginning of the pandemic. The mid-year is we're still in it, and so we're still, like Joanna was saying, we seem to see a drop in most of the metrics this year, which is a little bit surprising, at least. So I guess the question is, what do you take away from these data, especially in terms of how it informs the development of our next 3-year plan?
Yeah, so we're in the first year of our current 3-year plan. And I think, for me, it's one of those things where I hope it's just an asterisk for us in the next, as we move on out of this pandemic. and that our new baseline will be, higher, and our desired outcomes will obviously be higher as well. But I think my takeaway is how much the pandemic has really impacted our students and our community, and to recognize that we do have a lot of students, and it's hard to know when we look at the numbers. But if we can think about those numbers are also names of people, and they're impacted by it, and it's kind of a call to action for us to have a more sense of urgency about what we need to do. To make our plans better, to make the things that we feel we need to do to improve the lives of our students and give them the best chance at a better quality of life. For me, it just gives me a sense of urgency that we need to do more, and also an opportunity to reflect on, do these metrics and actions sufficient for where we want to go as a school district? It's unsettling, but at the same time, it's also an exciting opportunity for us to do something with knowing where we are now to where we want to be based on what we're seeing. So it's sad, but at the same time, I'm excited for the work that we have the opportunity to do.
I really appreciate you pointing out how this really shows how the pandemic has affected our students. And so it is an urgent situation. And so as our board member was bringing up about the actions, those actions, I think, really need to reflect the fact that we're dealing with kids that still don't know how to be students. And so how are we going to deal with that? So thank you for acknowledging that.
Yeah.
Or do you questions or comments?
Well, sorry, my voice is echo, and I said it trying this past.
Is your microphone on at least?
Bring it closer.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting to see kind of like, the difficulties from the distance learning and that sort of separation within the community and how that impacted, the schools, the data, the people, the individuals. And also comparing that to coming back in person so abruptly, sort of without kind of addressing the traumas our community has been in. And that's really important to take into consideration when we're considering the actions, because I'm pretty sure when the LCAP was created, they weren't expecting a nationwide or like international pandemic to happen, and like implementing that into their action and metrics. So just like Katie said, interested in seeing what that means for how we're going to address this.
Anyone else? No, thank you. All right, thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, next up, comments from the public on non-agendized items. If you would like to comment about something that is not on the agenda, please put your first and last name in the chat and what you would like to speak about. We're gonna leave the chat open for a few minutes. During that time, I'm gonna read our public comment policy. Under Government Code Section 54954.3A, members of the public have the right to address the governing board on any items of interest, providing it relates to the subject matter jurisdiction of the school district. While Government Code allows speakers to criticize the district's policies, procedures, program services, and/or employees, the district does have a policy specific to complaints against employees. Should comments from the public pertain to a specific district employee, the board requests that the complaint first be submitted in writing to the employee's immediate supervisor for investigation. If the comment is about something that is not on the agenda, it will be heard only during the public comment on non-agendized items, period. Once that part of the meeting is over, comments will only be taken on agenda items during the discussion of those items. The board values public comments, and although we cannot take action or discuss items not on the agenda, we listen carefully and appreciate input from the public. public comments are subject to a 4-minute per person limit or 20-minute limit per subject matter. Additionally, a public speaker can be cut off for exceeding the allotted time or for willfully causing an actual disruption to the meeting. Before cutting a person off or removing someone, the board will give at least one clear warning. If you were cut off or warned last time, please consider that your warning. You can also submit your input in writing by email or other means to the superintendent, board members, or other designated staff member.
Looks like we can close the chat. We have two comments. Two people who want to comment. First one up is Phoebe Ellis. Wants to talk about calendar 2022-23, sense of urgency for focus on students and learning. Welcome, Phoebe.
Good evening, school board members and superintendent and other administrators. Just two quick topics. I was looking at the proposed calendar for 2022 and 2023 and wondering why we continue to include the emergency school closure makeup days. A 2-week spring break, it turns out to be, is extremely difficult for high school age students as they're preparing to getting closer to finals and AP exams. It seems like a very large disruption in their learning. And not understanding why, now that we are well equipped at teaching and learning via Zoom, why we couldn't just pivot to Zoom instead of having to close the schools in case of, I guess, fires or emergencies that may occur. So hoping someone could give an explanation for that. And then secondly, I appreciate the superintendents in Sonoma County who all evidently sent a letter to the Board of Supervisors requesting help going forward so that we can focus our attention on education rather than on enforcing COVID protocols as educators, which I have been hopefully I would encourage other people in education to speak their voice, because as a parent, it's very evident that the focus has not been on education in the last, year, which has been difficult to see for our children. And I think it's been very evident in some of those numbers that Mr. Hua just shared with us, that the focus has been lost on learning and on our students who are desperately in need of attention. So I appreciate that letter that the superintendent, Mr. Harris, contributed to, and I hope that we can now actually have a call to action and not just continue to talk about it, but actually see something, a shift in the way we are addressing the lack of achievement and emotional attention in the last year and a half. So thank you all again for your time. Good night.
Thanks, Phoebe.
Good night.
Thank you, Phoebe.
Next up, we have Sal and Dropouts talk about equity consulting at PCS. Welcome, Sal.
Hello, Sal Andropoulos, they, he pronouns of North Bay LGBTQI families, and just following up on some questions and discussion at recent board meetings. It's a topic that was raised, I think, last month by President Pon and a public comment also at the last meeting. It also came up in the LCAP update just now. Just wanted to ask if there are any updates on the status of the equity consulting work that PCS has been undertaking, and this is the work that was previously, handled by Circle Up, and it sounds like some of it might be maybe addressed by the Women Consulting group kind of going forward, and maybe there'll be like an update coming up at the study session next week, around the equity study that PCS has been doing. But again, just especially in light of some of the issues that were raised during the BIPOC Student Voices Forum, back in November, just wanted to see if there are updates on the process, particularly around teacher and staff training in the realm of things like anti-bias training, as well as intervention in instances of racial harassment or harassment based on gender or sexual orientation. Thanks.
Thanks, Sal. All right, thank you, Sal. Were those the only two? Okay. All right. Report on activities and correspondence of school board members. The past 2 weeks, lots of office hours, McNear, Pengrove, McKinley, McDowell, Budget Advisory Committee, New Legislation Workshop, CHIPA, Mental Health and Substance Abuse Work Group, Asian Pacific Islander School Board Members Association webinar on the health and well-being of AAPI students. Our student board members, IOU meeting, Student Council Advisory, as well as games against Napa, Justin Sienna, playoff game against Rancho, and Archie Williams. And I was wondering if if Malaya, if you could share a bit about the IOU meeting that you attended.
Yes. So IOU was a club I founded.
Sorry. Is your microphone?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think it is.
There you go. If you just speak right into it.
IOU is a club I founded 2 years ago in COVID. Really just wanted to bring people together. And is also when I started getting really interested in, talking about really important world issues. And so the name of the club, IOU, stands for Inclusivity, Objectivity, and Understanding. There's a lot of different issues to report, to talk about, and to bring up to our community, and that are in need of addressing. And so every month our club will vote on, and it's a club about like 30 people. We meet every Thursdays during lunch, and every month we'll vote on like a new topic. And then like this month we're talking about Black History Month. And then we'll decide what we'll talk about, like the history of it, what it means, everybody's different thoughts and ideas. And we'll talk about like fundraisers we can do, volunteering we can do, supporting we can do. So this month we're going to try and work with PSU to make some tote bags. And we're going to decorate them, and then we're going to sell them and give the funds to support BSU. We did Mr. Kelsey, who's the club teacher advisor. He helped set up, what's it called? Clothing drive. Because last month was, we talked about homelessness and houselessness in our community. And then the month before that, we talked about global warming and climate change. And so we raised, in like one afternoon, we all got together, did bake sale stuff, and then we raised like $350 to give to the Sunrise Movement. So very proud of our club.
Yeah, good job.
I just wanted to mention it was really interesting, the Asian Pacific Islander School Board Members Association had a webinar where they had 4 people from community-based organizations that dealt with the API community, and it was mainly from Santa Clara County. But they were, because it came from the School Board Members Association, they talked about students and student needs. And I just wanted to point out a couple of things because it fits in with what we're talking about. And they were saying that the API students are not kind of monolithic. They come from a lot of different countries, their cultures, traditions, their expectations of their children and things like that are all very different. And so they really felt, there were like 3 things that I took away from it that I think we can use here. And one is using data and making sure that there are no asterisks. And they specifically used that term, which was really interesting, because sometimes you don't have a large population, but they still have to be addressed. We still have to think about how are we serving these kids' needs. So I just wanted to bring that up, that's certainly an issue that's very, very much, most people are aware of, and that these community-based organizations work with people with mental health issues and substance abuse. And so that's what the focus was, is mental health. And the other thing was to center social and emotional learning as a focus. So we've been talking about this with the K through 12 curriculum committee, as this is like the priority kind of. And they said that it has to be messaged all the time, every week. And it kind of goes along with the communication strategic plan, that if this is our focus, we need to really message that, and it's not like a one-time thing. It's not like it's substantive. It's something that we really do want to address to serve the needs of all of our kids for their mental health issues. So I just think it was a really fascinating webinar. It was recorded, so when I get it, I'll send it off to everybody.
Good, I'd love to hear it.
It was good. It wasn't students. These were
school board members.
Well, but the presentations came from community-based organizations working with mental health and substance abuse within the API community. Yeah,
Thanks.
it's really interesting.
And how'd your games go, Katie?
Good until Drake, then you lost.
All right, there's always next season, right?
Yeah.
All right, comments from the public? Comments from the public on consent agenda items. Leave the chat open again. If you want to comment on anything within the consent agenda, please put your first and last name in the chat and what you would like to speak about.
I think we can close the chat. Yeah, well, we'll let Pepper, she can speak. And Andrea Scarpetti here said that you missed a few from last public comment section in non-agendized items. There were two people who commented. Well, there were three. Two of them were the same person. Phoebe, I think Phoebe was just clarifying what she was going to speak about. But Andrea, do you want to speak?
Yes, please. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Sure.
Sorry, I have kids and a lot of things going on, and I must have missed it. I was typing and it was disabled. Thank you for listening to us. I really do appreciate that. And I want to also thank you guys for last time taking away the vaccine requirement on the overnight field trips and doing the testing. That is a really great step in the right direction for our children. And I just wanted to know, and actually have it put on the agenda, if we are going to move in the direction as many of the city school boards have done in California, moving away from the mandatory masks as far as the children being disciplined. I have a student who is a Petaluma High student, and he's been disciplined for simple things of the mask slipping. He has severe anxiety when he has it on. He really is trying his best, but it's beginning to be more of taking away from his education rather than helping his health at this point. I just don't agree with how the disciplinary is going down, and I would like to step away from that. And I think that it's something that we could absolutely do as a whole city to get away from making this even harder on these children and their mental health. And I just want to make sure that we do look into that and try to find a common ground so we can all get through this together.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Was that the only public comment?
That was it.
Okay. All right. Adoption and approval of the agenda.
I have a question about because I have a question about the resolution.
So we're going to do at the end, report at a closed session, right?
No, this
Are you
is
talking about-
for the discontinuing or reducing particular kinds of services.
Which item number is that?
Action item.
That's an action
Oh,
item.
is it
We're
an
not
action
even there
item?
yet.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
It's all good.
I move to approve the consent agenda by consolidated motion.
I second.
All right. Any questions, comments on anything?
Yeah, I got a quick question. This is on student services on the safety plans. It's just an issue, I perused the safety plans, and there was an issue that was brought to me at one of the office hours I attended these past 2 weeks. It had to do with after-hours safety. And I don't think those were addressed in those plans, and I'm not saying that they have to be, but I was just curious, do we have protocols for, I'm thinking of staff who have to stay after hours, like janitorial staff, or maybe students do too. What safety protocols there are if they encounter somebody from the public who's on campus and shouldn't be there, those kinds of things.
So I think I can speak to that because that's really not a student services issue. So yes, we do have, especially at the elementary schools, a limited number of custodial staff cleaning. And they do have both our security phone number and they have our custodial coordinator's phone number. So when those issues have come up, they know who they need to call. We know the particular school that I believe you're referring to. We've also adjusted that person's hours to more closely align with what daylight savings will be to minimize how much time they're spending after it gets dark. So we do have protocols in place. It really is very unique and on a case-by-case basis.
Katie Malari?
Okay, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, comments from the public on action items. Same policy as before, we'll leave the chat open for about a minute. First and last name and which action item you would like to speak towards.
Okay, I think we can close the chat. There are no public comments on action items.
All right, first up, resolution 2122-13, declaring February Black History Month, that our district is going to recognize February as Black History Month.
I move to approve resolution 2122-13.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Do you want to start the student?
No, we have not been including you guys on here on the vote, so I apologize. Do you have any comments about this action item?
I do not.
Do you have a voting preference?
What would your voting preference be?
Oh, I thought I don't have a vote.
So
You don't.
You
I
don't.
just want to
It's
know
a
what-
preference.
It's a
So
preference.
we want to give our student board members the opportunity to vocalize their support or opposition to anything on the action items, and it'll be recorded in the minutes.
Oh, awesome. So this is just declaring February as Black History Month? Absolutely.
Thank you. I assume, with your club work, okay. All right, next up, ballot for CSBA Delegate Assembly Representative. So it looks like there are two people on the ballot. Ever Flores, right?
Yeah.
And Jeremy Brott.
So we as a board have one vote, is that a deal?
Exactly.
And we have to choose between.
Yes.
And you have to make a selection, and this is the Pelham City School Board's representative to CSBA, local rep for CSBA. You decide on one, and then Sheldon, I think you're the first vice president.
I got a duty as a court.
Wow! Wait, what do you have to do? Do you have to check the box?
I have to sign it.
Oh my goodness!
Check it. It's
Not
very
you.
clear.
Wow,
It's very
Sheldon.
clerk-like.
This is great. All right.
I vote for Jeremy.
Okay, I was gonna vote for Ever. Do you know either one of the candidates? You sound like you know Jeremy.
Yeah.
I know I've
Sheldon.
met Ever. I know
His
Ever.
name sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
He is a school counselor, so I'm more biased towards him, and he's on the Santa Rosa School Board.
Yeah, he's been on,
He's
he's
on
been
the Santa Rosa School
Mhm.
Board.
for
Okay.
23
I would go
years.
with him.
Oh, Evers, this is like his first or second year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking
Oh,
about
Jeremy. Oh,
Jeremy, he's
okay.
been on it for
Oh, he's been on
23
for
years.
20.
He's been a delegate before. The only reason why I liked her, the second one,
Mhm.
but I just feel like that person's only been on their school board for a year, and
Whatever. Okay.
that's my reasoning.
Katie or Malaya, if you've even had, did you have a chance to look at both of the delegates? Do you have a preference?
I
You don't
think
have
so.
to. You can always abstain too. You can
Yes.
just be like abstain.
I don't understand, but I don't know anything about it.
Okay, cool.
I have no
Okay.
opinions.
So Maddie and Sheldon.
I'm gonna back Ever
Okay.
as new blood.
Oh,
Me too.
all right,
Okay.
I'll go with that too.
All right.
Unanimous.
So we nominate Ever Flores as our CSBA ballot for our CSBA ballot. Can I get a motion?
I move to approve
Ever Flores.
Ever Flores as our CSBA delegate, our choice for CSBA delegate.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All right. Next up, meeting dates, our upcoming meeting dates. Are there any conflicts there?
So just.
What's
this-
changed?
So the only change, that this is for this year's school board meeting dates. The only change is the last board meeting is moving from, I believe, the 20th to the 27th, right?
Yeah, so this has to do with both the adopted budget and the LCAP process.
Okay.
So we bring the preliminary budget and preliminary LCAP to the very first board meeting in June. And then the very next meeting that we have has to be a public hearing. That public hearing cannot be on the same night that the budget and LCAP are adopted.
Okay.
And there's a certain amount of days that we need in between in order to prepare all the state paperwork. So basically, we bring you the spreadsheets, here's the preliminary budget, then we have to go prepare a whole bunch of state reports. So we need at least 10 days in between that public hearing where the state reports have to be available and the preliminary budget.
So that's for this June.
That's for this June.
So we're
So the
moving
way it had been is there was only 2 days between the preliminary budget and the public hearing. That was not adequate time.
So
Not
you
sure how
want
that
to move it
happened.
to the 23rd?
Yes.
So-
So if you look at June, if you're on there, the board meeting dates,
Yeah.
it used to, the very, very bottom, far right, used to be the 16th.
I see.
Now we're moving it to the 23rd.
So normally,
23rd?
Yeah, it's-
normally what we do in a typical year, we would have the first board meeting preliminary, the next board meeting 2 weeks later would be the public hearing. And then 2 days after that, we would have a quick adoption. But the problem is that 2 days later is the 30th. So we'd have to actually, we need to deliver it to the county office by the 30th. So because that 2 days, because of the timing, we're proposing having it on the Thursday before the final board meeting, which is the 28th. And then we can drop the budget and LCAP off on the 29th. It's a very tight timeline. Alternatively, the board could move it and have it like the first Tuesday and the third Tuesday, and then 2 days after that, but we just figured this was an easy add. We would just make it about 10 days later or 12 days later. I forget
So what were the original dates?
The 16th, the 14th, was it the 13th? No, I haven't.
14th, 16th.
The 14th and the 16th, which is like 2 days later.
So instead it would be the 23rd and the 28th?
Yes.
Okay.
And the 28th is when we would approve it.
Yes, and the public
So,
hearing would be on the 23rd.
I have one concern. I want to make sure we have a quorum on the 28th because I think President Pond and myself might be out on the 28th.
I'll definitely be out on the 23rd and the 28th, but Washington DC.
Are you able
With
to-
my
are you-
family, yeah.
Are you able to zoom in?
Not on the 28th, possibly the 23rd.
I don't think I'll be able to zoom in on the 28th, but we need 3 for quorum. So the
Right.
question is, will Caitlin and the 2 of you be here?
I will absolutely be here.
I'll be here.
Okay.
I don't know about Caitlin.
Will you be here on the 23rd?
I'll be here on the 23rd.
And then
Okay.
I could run the meeting on the 28th.
As long as Caitlin's here, so maybe we should just bring this back when she's here next time.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, we just wanted to give you a heads up that
Okay.
those
Okay.
dates may need to change.
Or we could tentatively approve it and assuming that she can,
Okay.
she can do it. and
Okay,
if she can't,
let's do
we'll
that.
bring it back.
We'll do that.
Okay, all right.
And then.
Okay.
It's just one change.
The 28th is just the approval.
Right.
Yeah, it's a
And the
regular
28th
board
always
meeting.
been the 28th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it really, the meat and potatoes of the budget is gonna come on the first board meeting. That's when we present, like, here's what the preliminary, there's usually very little change between preliminary and final.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
You need to get a motion to approve the
I move to approve the changes, the revised.
Board of Education meeting.
Thank you. I move to approve the revised 2021-22 Board of Education meeting dates.
I'll second.
Malai and Katie, how do you guys feel about this?
That's great.
Yeah, you'll be here, be around? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next up, is this you, Jason? Okay.
So this resolution is something that we do is at this time of the year to lay out our process for skipping over certain positions that are of real importance to our students. And specifically, this resolution talks about reading specialists and reading certificates and bilingual. It is BCLAD authorized teachers as well.
Only if we were to get to layoff, only if we got to layoffs, then this is the process we would use. We approve that we do this every year.
Or Katie, do you have any questions about this resolution?
I don't. I approve.
Okay, all right.
I move to approve resolution 21-22-15.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, similar to the previous one, this is another one that we do annually. In the case that we do have to go to layoffs, this sets the order, helps us to rank for any staff that were hired on the same date so that we can figure out what the layoff order is.
Any questions about this one?
I have questions about the English learner authorizations. Aren't those saved credentials anyway?
You mean in the skipping process?
Yeah, well, in the,
So you're talking about number 4 on here?
yes.
So number 4, yeah, the last two, BCLAD and bilingual authorization, were in the skipping process, but the other ones were not.
Oh, okay, got it, thank you.
So yes, technically, if somebody had those last two, we just had a
They'd be
resolution that would be
skipped
skipped anyways. But
But
yes,
then the other people would be
Yeah, but the others aren't in that skipping process.
Okay, thank you.
Sharp eyes.
I move to approve resolution 21-22-16.
I second.
My preference is that I approve.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. You pull up this contract for assistance.
Well, we missed one.
No.
Did I miss one?
You did.
2217.
We need to hire somebody.
All right. Jason, this is you again?
This is me again.
Okay.
So this is our PKS, or particular kinds of service. This is due to projected declining enrollment and the need that we have for flexibility with our master schedules and for our charter programs, alternative programs, and elimination of categorical funds. And this is a list of particular kinds of services that need to be reduced or potentially could need to be reduced. And it is a total of 20.9 FTE equivalent employees.
And I would say part of why it might feel a little higher is because of the pandemic. We've been declining in enrollment over 2 years. So we've gone from roughly 75 to under 7,200. And so that over 300 student drop, we've been protected because of the hold harmless on the LCFF funding. And so we were able to preserve many jobs this past year as we were staffing. Plus, our enrollment dropped more dramatically than we anticipated in the fall when we started school. So in other words, last spring, we thought we were going to have more students this year, and those students did not materialize. So I just want to explain why it seems a little bit higher in numbers. It's because of a combination of things, some of which is also categorical, which Jason talked about.
Will any of these be on? Do we know what our retirement is going to look like?
And so I think it's important to note, this is based on enrollment. These are the positions, not people. So
right.
People, they'll be retire. There will be certainly be some retirements. There certainly is some positions will shift around. This is just essentially our conservative estimate at what we're going to need next year based on enrollment, and then also giving us some flexibility with students when they sign up for classes, making sure that we have that sort of flexibility. So It's not about individual people.
Well, no, I understood that. I just.
We will definitely have. But
sometimes retirements offsets the need.
Yeah, that's yes, and leaves. We have a number of leave requests this year, that sort of thing. So there will be offsets to this.
Okay.
But this is really based on some of the categorical stuff, and then just truing up our enrollment numbers that we've been staffing higher than our enrollment has warranted the last few years. So there's that factor.
And there's also, like, a part of this is independent study. So under SB 130, that sunsets June 30th.
Right.
We're no longer going to be able to offer that at the elementary and junior high level. And a lot of those positions, there were teachers that took on additional sections.
Oh, okay.
Right. So anyway,
because they're all 0.2.
Right. It's a starting place for HR.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have something. I do have a question about this.
Okay.
The counselors.
Mm-hmm.
I realize that the CSI is coming from, the county and that's going away. But when I see 1.6 FTE counseling, when everything I hear everywhere is the need for mental health counselors and guidance counselors in our schools. I just really hate to see that on our list of cutting positions. I really want to see if we can find other funds to fund these two positions, because the CSI counselor is really important. And I don't know where this 0.6 FTE is, but I would not approve of either one of those being cut. I just think we need counseling, and that's all we hear about everywhere is the need for, and we don't have enough now. And So then to see this cut, I'm just kind of, I feel pretty strongly about it, that's all.
Yeah, and I would just say, I mean, the CSI funding, right? We know that our CSI will reduce some reductions in our CSI funding. I hear what you're saying, absolutely, Maddie, and we've added mental health counseling, school psychologists, we've added some counseling, and so this is really about that categorically funded, at least the one. The other one is about enrollment at a certain school site.
Isn't this one at the alternative sites?
The CSI one?
The CSI one?
Yes.
But also it's.
So I think that's where it's really needed, and they have told us that they need those counseling positions there. So I understand the financial part of it, but I don't think we should be reducing. I think we need to be adding. I would move to amend this to remove the counseling positions from this resolution.
If I may just clarify though, this is, number one, it's preliminary notice, it's not final. And number two, the CSI funding, we're hoping to hear about whether we're going to get additional funding next year or not. Right. Once we receive verification of funding services, then that 1.0 in particular would be something that immediately got restored. But we just have to be careful that when we have categorical funding, that it's really clear that those are temporary positions. And so, and again, this is very preliminary. And so we're looking at the CSI funding very closely to see if we're going to be eligible for it again.
I totally understand that, and I totally respect that. And I know that was temporary, as all those funding things are. My feeling right now is that we need to find funds to hire these people, not on interim basis or on short term or whatever you want to call it. I want to see more counseling in our schools, and in particular in our alternative settings.
To be clear, if this were actually if it actually came to layoffs, that would come to this board again in the summertime, and we would have to approve it.
So then right now,
this is just a plan.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so notices don't go out till March 15th. So are we going to see this again before the notices?
Well, what happens is, again, this is preliminary notice. And so we're going to be doing everything we can in the next X number of weeks, months to determine what our funding actually is, what our enrollment's really going to be. We don't really know. Our enrollments may start growing. It may decline further. Then May 15th, or we come back and say, okay, based on everything we know now, here's what the final reduction or PKS will look like. So this is preliminary. It allows us to continue the work to determine what our staffing really should be. It's not the final. There would be another time that we would be coming back in May and saying, okay, we would recommend final notice, or no, we're not recommending reducing. So there is one more time. This is just very preliminary. And by then we'll also know if we're receiving additional CSI funding. Right.
Yeah, and not jeopardizing supply.
To Maddie's point, though, I mean, you had raised a question about both those counseling positions. One is the CSCI. The other, the 0.6, is one that at a site where the enrollment had dropped considerably, and it doesn't match the ratio that we've been staffing at other schools. So that was why that one was on this preliminary list as well, just to be transparent about the positions we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So these are guidance counselor positions.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
School counselor.
Not many.
Because the school counselors are certificated. The guidance coordinators are guidance specialists, which are your licensed MFTs.
Right.
Those are on the classified
they're
side.
on a different thing.
Yeah.
Yes, this is all the certificated, the credentialed ones.
Thank you.
So I'll call the question, resolution 2122-17.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye. I mean, nay.
Okay. Katie and Malaya, do you guys have a preference or? about this one?
I'd say I'm kind of neutral on this one just because I haven't seen the list, but I do think Maddie makes a good point. But I mean, yeah, I'm neutral.
I agree. I think there's a lot more to both sides that I haven't really been exposed to as much, so I would have to look into that more.
All right. Next up, approval of contract for Assistant Superintendent of Student Services for the 21-22 school year.
So I think I'm happy to take this one. This is not an addition of a position. This is we're proud to, just to say how wonderful it's been having our interim Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, Maite Ture, with us, and hearing just raving reviews from everyone I talked to at different sites, and just from my own time working with Maite, I'm really excited. First of all, that she even accepted that she wants to stay with us for hopefully as long as we can have her, and have her our Assistant Superintendent of Student Services. So that's what this one's about.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. I move to approve the contract for Assistant Superintendent of Student Services. A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Katie and Malaya?
Welcome,
Okay.
welcome, Maite.
All right.
Officially, we'll drop the intro.
What a team. Thank you very much. No kidding.
All right. Second reading of the board bylaw revisions. Anyone have any comments about this? Looks good. No? Okay. Do you have anything to add, Matthew, or no?
This is just, again, we had a request to, sorry, didn't know you were waiting for me. A request, essentially what we're doing is, based on a board member request, to change our board bylaws where it says clerk, we're changing it to say clerk/vice president. Mm-hmm. There is another change here down at the bottom, really to align our current practice. We're aligning the board bylaw with our current practice, and that is that we're just changing to say the board shall each year elect one of its members to be president and another member to be clerk/vice president. And we struck out the part that says the member shall be one who previously has not served in office unless all board members have previously served in office. After serving 1 year as clerk, the elected member shall serve 1 year as president of the board. When we look back in the board history, that has not been what's happened. And so we're bringing the bylaw into what's actually happening with the board. So.
All right. Next up, board policy and administrative regulation 6115. Anyone have any questions or comments about either the policy or the regulation?
So the impetus of this was state law, right? State law change. Is that correct? I'm not really.
No.
The impetus was what?
So this one is just around ceremonies and observances. So
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah.
Yep, this is around. We're updating it to be in alignment with the most up to date CSBA policy around importance of observing holidays, celebrating events, cultural, historic significance, acknowledging the contribution of outstanding individual in society. On days designated by the board, staff shall provide students with appropriate commemorative exercises so they may acquire the knowledge, skills, and principles essential for informed, responsible citizenship in a democratic society. District schools shall be closed on the holiday specified in Education Code 37220 and on any other day designated as a holiday by the board. The board may, by adoption of a resolution, revise the date upon which schools close in observance of any holiday except Veterans Day, which shall be celebrated on its actual date. That's Ed Code 37220. In addition, the board may, through the adoption of a resolution, authorize the display of symbolic flags or banners in support of specific awareness months.
So we would have to adopt a resolution to say for day 5 minutes.
Yes.
Any of those kinds of, okay.
Yep. That's it.
Thank you.
All right. First reading of the English Learner Board Policy and the AR as well. Did you want to say anything about this, Tony?
Just that it's long overdue for us to update our English learner board policy. It's been since 2003, and a lot has changed with Prop 58, so we just want to make sure we're current with it.
Anyone have any questions or comments? Yeah.
I thought it looked really good.
All right. Anything else? Any questions or comments about the last couple things? No? All right, so future business, looks like we have diversify our narrative presentation coming up. And then the presentation about class rank as well. Does anyone have anything else for future business? Malaya or Katie? Okay. With that, we are going to adjourn.
So yeah, we're going to adjourn to
Okay.
closed session and come out. Do we want to report out from closed session now? And then we need to go back into closed session to talk through 3.3, or do you want to come back out and then report?
We can report out now, so everyone can leave. All right, so in closed session, action was taken on resolution 2122-14 with a 5-0 vote to approve the resolution. All right, and with that, we are adjourned.
And then we will not be reporting out. When we come back from closed session, we'll be reporting anything out, just so people know.
Okay, all right, meeting adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.